just a quick short video. So I remember, if you've seen one of my older videos, you'll see that I said, oh, I had titanium retainers that I was able to dig up for this. And something to keep an eye on, you dig up some used stuff, is to make sure everything goes together. So this is, steel retainer. What's on the head right now. And, everything looks as it should with the lock. I go to put these in place, and they sit like this. So let me see if I could focus. You see how the retainer and the lock sit high on the retainer. So most likely, without looking too hard at it, it looks like this is a 7-degree titanium retainer, and these are 10-degree locks. At least that's what it looks like to me. They just sit high, and it doesn't look right. Yeah, it has a little bit of recessed screw here, but I don't think that's for a lash cap. I don't know. But long story short, I'm probably not gonna put titanium retainers on this now, because I think the $300 in retainers could be spent somewhere else at this point if I was to buy new. I do have another set that is attached to a head. Over here. So these will work, definitely. This is mounted on a Dart 215 head. And they have real nice springs on them too. So I could technically take, the Valvetrain out of this head, and use those springs and stuff. But I was planning to use those springs, retainers, on another head that I have coming down the line. So I'm just here almost killing time pondering, because that's all I would have for lighter weight retainers. What throws me for a loop with this car is the fact that the car is making a lot more power than I guess I anticipated at this weight. So the car is turning more RPM, and I'm also in a little dilemma in which if I take gear away from it, put 430s, I'm gonna get more slippage in the converter. And am I gonna slip enough that it's gonna negate the gear change? And then especially if I go from like a 456 to a 430. And another thing that I have found is, I want to insert, I don't know if I can insert a picture with the way I've been editing the videos. Over here. Hopefully this is it. So when I got the cam for that motor that's in the car, I got it secondhand. And this is, more evidence of that. This is how I got the cam specs for that cam. So the cam that's in it is a 633, 624 lift, 260, 264 with 110 load separation. So it's actually smaller than I actually remembered. So I'm actually overspinning this cam. I'm really overspinning it, and not that I'm asking for trouble. You know, I don't think it's that type of situation. But the engine's no longer making power up there, and you know the spring. I have enough spring on it. I just took the spring off, and I could. I'm probably gonna put a checker spring in there and just test the springs. They feel like they're about 650 pound springs. Again, my arm isn't calibrated, but it's a hefty spring. That spring is definitely on the heavier side, especially for a small block Chevy stuff. So I still have the push rod thing. I got this thing going on now. You know, another solution, and it won't fix the retainer type problem. Um, which I probably could still spin it that high with a steel retainer with a stiffer push rod. Again, I'm talking here and thinking, but if I go with a bigger cam, especially when this cam, you know, when I put it in there secondhand, and I was planning on hitting this with nitrous, the 110 low separation, right? I should have been fine to about 300 shot nitrous in this combination, and the thing would in the Chevette would have been pretty darn fast. Right now, even with the way the motor sits, that motor in this car in the Chevette would run, you know, somewhere in 970s maybe, you know, just the way it is, and it would go faster. Like it can go faster than it has gone already. So, if I put a bigger cam in it, and again run that motor NA, a more NA naturally aspirated oriented cam, it will have a 106 low separation. You know, I probably add another, definitely a few degrees in an intake lobe, and you know, I don't like to. If you have such a tight low separation, you don't need a lot of extra exhaust duration. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking out loud, and maybe I'll take her apart real quick and put a bigger cam in it. Because if I'm gonna end up having, technically speaking, I should tighten the converter up to run this combination more. You know, let's discuss this here. All right, this is me thinking. This is how I think, at least out loud. Um, I'm gonna have to maximize this combination in this car. I'm gonna have to definitely uh, change the converter and change the rear gear. Changing the converter and gear is gonna cost me, you know, send the converter out. That's like a $500 exchange to rebuild it, and then they'll tighten it up. And some places they'll give you one stall change, you know. And then I'm also gonna be down while they have the converter. I have another converter on the shelf, and I don't know what it will do in the car. So technically, I could slap that in there, see what happens. Um, and then I do the gear change, which the gears for this car is cheap. I get it for like 150 bucks or less, you know, for 8.5. You go on Quick Performance. This is not even I'm not even sponsored by them, but hey, if you wanna, you know, sponsor anything, uh, yeah, their prices are really good. I mean, really good, and you get gears for this for you know pennies, and then you know weekend set up the rear and be on my way. But like I said, if I go down to a 430, I wouldn't go down to a 410. That's for sure. But if I was to go down to a 430, that again, I'm still loading the converter more. And you know, right now I'm at like 7% slippage or whatever. So technically, it may just slip more, and I may not trap as high, but I might lose more to slippage. So my mile an hour might not change at all, or may go slower. You know, but that is a cheaper change. But hear me out. I'm just thinking, if I throw more cam in it, and the engine spins makes power a little bit higher. The higher you spin the converter, technically the tighter it gets. So uh, with the same combination with a different cam, I should be able to get the car to leave harder because again the car is leaving a little lazy. I think it's leaving lazy because too much converter for the cam that's in it. 110 low separation and 260 low. I imagine that thing's making torque much lower than what the converter is flashing to. Um, I don't know. These last couple of videos has been me thinking out loud um, with the push rod situation, which I might have a solution. Um, I had thanks for everyone that left a comment and helped me you know get had some ideas. Um, uh, so I may have a solution temporarily for that. Now is do I just stick a bigger cam in it? If spend the money on a cam instead of spending money on a converter and gears and not go anywhere. Mind you, all that being said, and I've been doing a lot of blabbering, is for a 260 lobe and an iron head in this car, that's moving pretty good. I had to say for myself. Um, it was technically the wrong cam. Um, I think the car is actually doing pretty good. So I guess that's a positive, But there's definitely more in it. Uh, as of right this second, and if you guys even make it to this point in the video, I think I'm gonna change the cam. We might be putting a cam in it and seeing what she does. Because I think just by putting a cam in it, I could probably pick up a fair bit, especially with seeing how small the cam was in the car. So, uh, whole point of this video is pay attention when you get stuff. Make sure you put the right retainer with the right lock, and you don't turn your engine into a bomb. And a bigger cam makes everything better. Yeah, bigger cam makes everything better. Road Joe Builds. Like, share, and subscribe.